I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do. I walk that wire and I take that step. Won't look down, got no regrets. Won't look down, got no regrets. I was made for this. I was made for this. Born in the wild, formed in the fire, built for the battle. Oh, I was made for this. I was made for this. Mind over matter, silence the doubters. I have the power. Oh, I was made for this.
All right. I think we're here. Looks like we're here. Yes, we have people on. Imagine that. I am the cameraman, the sound guy, the editor. Yeah, there's nothing to edit except the erase button, right? But appreciate you guys joining me on another episode of Common Sense with Chief Culp. Cheers. You saw that commercial right there before I went live, MinutemenCoffee.com. They are a sponsor of this show. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving them. Be sure that you remember, if you order at least 2 pounds of coffee from MinutemenCoffee.com, enter the promo code CULP, C-U-L-P, all capitalized, you get 15% off. And as you can tell, I've been drinking a lot of coffee today. So with that said, make sure that you support MinutemenCoffee.com. I appreciate it. They have American Cop Coffee. Imagine that. Named after American Cop. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. Oh, I want to mention, let's see, the rolling memorial for the fallen police officers starts the end of this month on May 28th, Friday, May 28th. The ride starts out in Spokane Valley at Lone Wolf Harley in Spokane Valley, and we'll be riding. I'm honored to have been invited to ride a Harley Davidson to escort the rolling memorial starting in Spokane Valley on May 28th and leaving Lone Wolf Harley early in the morning, I believe. And then the first stop is the Grant County Sheriff's Office in Ephrata. Check their website. It is endofwatchride.com. Endofwatchride.com. Be sure to check out their website. They are going to be traveling all across the United States. I've talked about this before. I cannot say this enough. We need to support this cause. It's a rolling memorial honoring all of the fallen officers from 2020. There's 328 of them, I believe, that lost their life in the line of duty. We have to honor their sacrifice, their service, their family's sacrifice. 328 families. Multiply that however many people are in a family, right? That's a lot of people affected by the abuse of our law enforcement officers. And there's a lot this year. So every year they're going to be doing this ride. And that rolling memorial has every officer's picture on it and their name, and it travels. It's a large trailer with their pictures on it. And they're going to be visiting the departments that lost officers in 2020. So the first stop is Grant County Sheriff's Office in Ephrata. So be sure to show up and support. Go to their website, endofwatchride.com, endofwatchride.com, and check out the schedule. They're going to be traveling for over 2 months. And I'm going to be on the rolling memorial for the first part, which covers Washington State. I believe there's about 4 or 5 stops that we are going to be making to honor our fallen officers in Washington State. So be sure to check out the website, endofwatchride.com, when we get done here, and find out when and where, what times, and the locations. So everybody needs to get out and show support for the families. The families will be there, fellow officers will be there, And we need to show support for our brothers and sisters in blue that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Okay, and now a couple other announcements. I'm looking over here at my computer screen so I don't forget these things. This Saturday from 10 to 12, I will be in Moses Lake at the I got to get this right, Lake City Foursquare Church in Moses Lake, 10 to 12. It's a candidate roundtable. There's going to be 3 candidates there for Congress for the 4th Congressional District. I am one of them. A little bit different from the governor's race, right? There was, 36 candidates for governor. And to come out on top and take on Jay Inslee, it was awesome. And it's all because of you guys, all because of your support. So 3 candidates so far anyway. I mean, it's, what is it, a year and a half? Next year, 2022 is the congressional race, the election. So I will be at that roundtable, Moses Lake, Lake City Foursquare Church, 10 to 12, this coming Saturday. And then after that, we have a book signing at the 10 Pin Tap House in Moses Lake from 1:30 to 2:30. I will be there available to sign autographs and my first book, American Cop, and my new book, which is right up there on the right-hand top of your screen, An Insubordinate Life. I'll have both of those available along with some stickers and things like that. So if you are interested, stop by and say hi. I'll be there 1:30 to 2:30, and that's 1165 North Stratford Road, Moses Lake at the 10 Pin Tap House. So I hope to see you there if you're in the area. So tonight, my mouth is awful dry. Tonight, I would like to talk about probably the greatest document ever written for government in the history of the world. I would say yes, it is the greatest government document ever written, and that is the United States Constitution. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one. You can find them on the internet, or Minuteman Coffee sends one out with every order. This document is absolutely fantastic. I love the Constitution. As you know, when I ran for governor, I talked about it a lot. I'm going to go through just a couple things that are in this. You know, it's not just the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that are in here. There are quotes from our founding fathers. And I'm going to read some of them, and then we're going to talk about a little more specific. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing, but there are, so you can see it's all marked up and earmarked, and there's certain sections that give our elected public servants, our representatives in government, power. And they're specific. They are enumerated in this document. And as you know, if you've watched my show before, these powers are written down in here. And the 10th Amendment says that anything that's not written in here, the powers that aren't given to our federal government, are reserved for the states or the people. That's very important. Very, very important. 10th Amendment, I believe, is one of the most important things in this document. So if the federal government isn't given the power, then it's left up to the states or the people. Very important. You know, we have what? A monstrosity of a federal government, an out of control federal government that is doing so many things that are not enumerated in this document that we, the people, have allowed them to do. And we, the people, need to take that power back. So I'm going to start out by reading some quotes from our founding fathers. First one is from General George Washington, the first president of the United States. He said, "The power under the Constitution will always be in the people. It is entrusted for certain defined purposes and for a certain limited period to representatives of their own choosing. And whenever it is executed contrary to their interests, or not agreeable to their wishes, their servants can and undoubtedly will be recalled. So President Washington, first of all, he's talking about the power. It is in the people, in we the people. And if our representatives that we put into office do not abide by their oath of office, which is to uphold and defend the Constitution, or they do anything else that we do not like, we can recall them by voting in someone else. So let's see, Thomas Jefferson said, on every question of construction, let us carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted. Recollect the spirit manifested in the debates, and instead of trying what meaning may be squeezed out of the text or invented against it, conform to the probable one in which it was passed. So instead of trying to decipher anything, we should read the words that it says and take it for the literal meaning that our founders intended. Okay, so and there's a lot written in the Federalist Papers as well. The Federalist Papers, Hamilton, Madison, and Jay wrote those. They were, I believe that, yeah, they were newspaper articles that were written about the Constitution, about the adoption, and explained what they were thinking on different things. So Alexander Hamilton wrote this: if angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. In framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this: you must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place, oblige it to control itself. You know, he also said, a famous quote of his is that we should bind down those in government with the chains of the Constitution. So those are some quotes. Let me jump up here. And here's part of what the Deputy Director for the Commission on Bicentennial of the United States Constitution wrote, Ronald Mann. I'll just read the first paragraph of it. Adherence to the spirit and intent of our Constitution was so important to our founding fathers that one of the first acts of the first Congress in 1789 was to pass the verbiage for the oath or affirmation of office in compliance with Article 6 of our Constitution. So in Article 6 of our Constitution, it says that there will be an oath of office. And that oath of office is to uphold and defend the Constitution. Our founders thought that it was so important that people uphold and defend this document that they made them raise the right hand and swear an oath to it. So they didn't take this lightly. And you know, think about when this document was written. If someone didn't keep their word, or if they insulted someone, they would challenge somebody to a duel. They'd walk out back and they'd pace off 30 steps, turn around and shoot each other, right? That's what honor, duty, and country was all about. You kept your word. You did what you swore you would do. So they put that in there, and it's not something that I take lightly. I've taken the oath of office 3 times in my life: once in the military, once when I became a police officer, and once when I was promoted to chief of police. And as you guys know, I stand up for the Constitution. So let's take a look at Congress, the office that I am running for 22, to kick the turncoat Newhouse out of office from the 4th District. So the powers of Congress are in Section 8. What can they do? You know, what does the Constitution tell our Congress that it can do? And I'm not going to read all of these. There's quite a bit on here. I'll just touch on a few things. So Congress has the power to collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. They have the power to borrow money on the credit of the United States, to regulate commerce with foreign nations, and among the several states and the Indian tribes. To establish an uniform rule of naturalization, so immigration, that's a duty of Congress. Let's see, to coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, to provide for punishment of counterfeiting, to establish post offices and post roads, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to declare war. This is Section 8 of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. To declare war. Congress alone has the power to send our nation to war. Congress. Congress needs to reclaim that. They need to abide by this Constitution, where it gives the power to take this nation to war, to send our young men and women into battle in a life and death situation. That power belongs to Congress. They have, because a lot of them are spineless, they have allowed that power to be handled by one person, and that at the president. But our founders knew that it was dangerous to have one person in charge of that power. I mean, that's a lot of power. And they knew that it was dangerous. You know, a king can send a nation to war. An emperor can send a nation to war. A dictator can send a nation to war. Our founders didn't want that decision to go to war in the hands of one person. So, and we have seen what's happened because that power has been given from our legislators to the executive branch. It doesn't belong there. Nowhere in here does it give the executive branch power to take our nation to war. The president is the commander in chief once Congress declares war. And the power being held back in Congress, with a lot of people having to make that decision and answer directly to the people that they represent, our founders knew that we would not be in frivolous wars for decades, or any wars for decades, unless we had real good reason. So Congress needs to reclaim that duty from the executive branch. Let's see. To raise and support armies, to maintain a navy, to make rules and regulations regarding our land and naval forces. Let's see. There are a lot of things in here, you know, but when you boil it all down, it's very minute when it comes to the things that the federal government is allowed to do. Like I said, Article 10 or the 10th Amendment to the Constitution says that anything that's not in here is left up to the states or we the people. So I will read the 10th Amendment, and then we can get on to Q&A. Let me switch over here and see if we have any questions. Looks like a lot of comments. If you have a question, you guys go ahead and fire them out. I will try to see. This is through a program that combines Facebook and YouTube. So I get questions from both, but I don't always see all of them. But I will look through there. It looks like there's a lot of things written so far. Appreciate it. So the 10th Amendment, and I talked about this on my last show, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or the people. So there you have it, the 10th Amendment. Our founders thought that was pretty important. I think it's pretty important too, right? They meant for a small, defined federal government. Remember, all the states got together to form the federal government. The people of those states supported it and sent their representatives, and they adopted this Constitution for the federal government. They didn't mean for a federal government that could do anything and everything for us. There are so many things that are not in here that over the years, over the decades, over the centuries, we the people have allowed our legislators to add as a responsibility to the federal government. Imagine a federal government that was even closely tied to the Constitution, right? How free would we be? What in our life does the federal government not touch, right? What don't they regulate or make rules and laws governing, right? Almost everything that the federal government does touches our lives. Our founders never intended for that, ever. They wanted the power back home. They wanted the states and the people to have their power. They didn't want the federal government to be all powerful. So very, very good. We need to know this should be taught in schools. I mean, like taught, like a whole year of going through the founders' quotes, what they meant, going through the Federalist Papers. It's a shame that it's not. But, you know, I think that if it's not taught and we don't know what our rights are, we don't know the role of our federal government, then we don't know when we're losing our rights. We don't know when we are about to lose our freedoms. You know, the politicians get up and they talk about this and they talk about that, and it also, oh yeah, that sounds great. You know, we should do that. Well, if it's not in here, it's not a power of the federal government, and they shouldn't be doing it. It's up to the states or the people. Because the state government is easier. You know, I say that, but it's not easy to control our state government, right? We have to get representatives in there that abide by the state constitution. But imagine, you know, it's hard to control what happens at the state level. It's even harder, and our founders understood this, it's even harder to control what happens in the federal government. So they wanted the power to stay home, to stay with the people or the states, so that it's closer to the people, it's easier to control. So get yourself a copy, read it, read the founders' quotes, and we have to be educated. We have to know what we were given. You know, and that goes back to the governor's campaign. I talked about the state constitution all the time. You know, Article 1, Section 1, Article 1, Section 7, Article 1, Section 24. And a lot of the rallies I go to, you know, thousands of people. And I would ask, can someone tell me what Article 1, Section 7 says of the Washington State Constitution? And I may have had one or two people that got really close. And in a way, you think about it, that's kind of sad, right? Our school systems are failing us. We should know what our rights are. Article 1, Section 7 says that no citizen shall be disturbed in private affairs. That's huge. We need to know that. We need to know. We need to know the law. This is the law. So, okay, let's see. Got any question? If you notice, it's Casual Tuesday. Let me back up here a little bit. I'm looking down here at my computer. See if I can find a question real quick. Lots of highs and hellos, you guys. I really appreciate you guys being on here. Thank you for the comments. Let's see. There's a nice comment. Inslee needs to go. He can drive his electric cars on his own little island somewhere in the middle of China Sea, South China Sea. I love you guys' comments. These are awesome. Okay, looking for a question. How long have we been on here? 24 minutes. So, okay, we're just about done. Cheryl Lynn, everyone needs to get a constitutional rights pamphlet. Absolutely they do. And you can look it up on the internet. Those of you that order Minuteman coffee, you know you get a copy of it. I'm starting my own collection. I always carry one with me. But we need people in office. We need people in office that understand their role as public servants, understand the intent of our founders, because we're losing our country. I mean, that's obvious, right? It is going the way of socialism. Oh my goodness. These are going by awful fast here. And like I said, these are comments from YouTube and Facebook. A lot of people agreeing what I'm talking about. So it looks like most of these are comments. I haven't seen a question yet. So that will be about it. 25 minutes, you guys. I'm not going to keep you tied up all night long. I appreciate it. Don't forget, endofwatchride.com. Let's just have massive amount of support shown at these at this rolling memorial. Whenever it comes close to where you're at, take the family. It's family friendly. Let's honor these fallen police officers. Like I said, the first stop is Friday, May 28th in Ephrata at the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Check their website, endofwatchride.com. And let's get out and honor our police officers, show support for the Thin Blue Line. And then this Saturday, 10 to 12, I'll be in Moses Lake. So I appreciate you guys coming on here. I appreciate your support. It's absolutely fantastic. My run for Congress, the website is cultforcongress.com. Pretty simple, right? You could type in a number 4 or FOUR, either way, cultforcongress.com. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for your support, and please share this. I believe that the powers that be on certain platforms are kind of putting the thumb on us. So the more you share it, the better. I very much appreciate it. And I will see, I had a Facebook Live a little bit earlier. Chris was not on tonight. He didn't do Pushback Show because he is traveling. Busy man, very busy man. So, all right, you guys, that's about it. You take care, and I will see you Saturday, or I'll see you at one of the events, endofwatchride.com. You guys take care. God bless.